Kieran Review, Print Speaking to the Blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @KieranReview. That is @CuanDreview. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@KieranReview.com. That is INFORMATION@CuanDreview.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
This week's edition of the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald podcast, date 1st of March 2023, read by Alan, Corey, Hunter and Ian. Shock tax rise as Council sets its 2023 budget, by Neil McGrory, local democracy reporter, and read to you today by me, Ian. East Northamptonshire Council has responded to the biggest funding shortfall in its history by setting a budget that includes a 5% council tax increase. The council needed to find £20.6 million to meet its current expenditure, and the 5% tax increase, which was agreed unanimously by councillors, will raise £1.37 million, while Band D homeowners will have to pay an extra £67.41 per year. Councillor Gordon Lowe said, "No one likes any increase in council tax, but 5%, which is significantly below the current rate of inflation, brings in much needed additional income. And we have mitigated the impact on the hardest pressed in our communities by putting a further £1.5 million into the ongoing cost of living support measures. That is on top of the £2.1 million already committed this financial year. Our approach to council tax and the cost of living support has been directly informed by the responses we received to our consultation exercise. Community engagement and participation is at the heart of the decisions we are making. The measures included in the cost of living package include pensioner support, the Homelessness Hardship Fund, community grants, free leisure services for young people, household support payments, and an extension of the school clothing grant. The rest of the funding gap will be drawn from reserves and increasing efficiency in the council services." Councillor Lowe added, "Our budget decisions were informed by our Have Your Say consultation. We asked for views on council tax increases and feedback on our cost of living package, and our budget decisions are based on the feedback we receive. We will continue to engage with our communities as we transform council services, ensuring they are as efficient and effective as possible, and that we are addressing our cost of living and climate emergency challenges in the process. The capital programme was also agreed with a corporate asset plan and climate action plan to be finalised later in the year. Feasibility studies on replacing 4 primary schools will also be carried out. Capital projects featured in the plan include a £3 million recycling centre, a £1 million extension to Cadder Cemetery in Bishopbriggs, a further £1 million to improve roads and footpaths. Councillor Lowe added, "We are a council that listens and have agreed to ensure that the feasibility study we have committed to for a new build Westerton Primary School at the Westerton Hall and Library site will also include the option to decant, demolish and rebuild on the current site. These two options will be shared with the school and wider Westerton community throughout our established processes." Councillor Lowe concluded, "We have agreed a revenue budget that sees no reduction in services, as we take a transformative approach to services in the coming years to achieve sustainable savings, and importantly, continues to support our communities with our cost of living support measures. We have also agreed a capital programme to deliver our climate and carbon neutral ambitions, and I look forward to working with our communities to bring about a progressive and sustainable change to council services." Council tenants will see rents increase by 4.2%. Councillor Lowe said, "We were seeking to strike a balance between keeping rents affordable and continuing to invest in both our existing properties and new housing. Our agreed 4.2% rise is below the average and, of course, we are mitigating the impact of price increases on our most vulnerable through the cost of living support package, agreed in our council revenue budget, and maintaining our established tenant hardship funds. The agreed housing capital budget for 2023-24 is £20.98 million, which includes £7.4 million to improve energy efficiency in council houses, £6.68 million on new housing, £3.34 million on purchasing properties from developers, and £3.1 million to buy homes in the open market. Councillor Lowe added, our capital programme, both for the year ahead and the 5 years to March 2028, demonstrates our commitment to continually improving our current housing stock. It also sees significant investment to expand our housing stock through both new builds and targeted purchases. During debate, Conservative Group Leader Billy Hendry said that the Scottish Government was not passing on the money it received from Westminster. He added that the £20 million in cuts would result in reduced services across East Northamptonshire. He accused the administration of smoke and mirrors as charges would increase, and said the council was not setting a good example of efficiency as its HQ remained fully heated despite having just a few staff. He added that the Labour group was propping up the SNP administration. This Week in History, as recorded on Wednesday the 1st of March 2023. March the 1st, 1904. Glenn Miller, US trombonist, bandleader, composer and arranger, was born. On this day last year, Prince George joined his parents at the rugby, where the Duchess of Cambridge scored a victory over her husband with England's win against Wales. March the 2nd, 1949. The first round-the-world non-stop flight was completed by Captain James Gallagher and his 30-man US Air Force crew. It took 94 hours, during which the plane, Lucky Lady 2, was refueled 4 times in flight. March the 3rd, 1931. The US Congress adopted the Star-Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key, as the national anthem. On this day last year, the golden eagle population in the south of Scotland had reached new heights, conservationists said, with the highest number recorded in the area since the early 19th century. March the 4th, 1924. Happy Birthday to You was published by Clayton F. Summey. March the 5th, 1936. The Spitfire fighter made its maiden flight. On this day last year, an Instagram influencer called on people to donate to Ukrainians by booking Airbnb rentals in the country. March the 6th, 1944. US planes from bases in Britain began daylight bombing raids on Berlin. On this day last year, a police officer saved 2 women after they got stuck in a swamp in Birmingham.
Anger over funding. Local MSP Rona Mackay has expressed disappointment and shock at the decision by Cancer Research UK to axe funding to the Glasgow Clinical Trials Unit, which works in tandem with the Beatson Institute, based at the Garscube campus in Bearsden. Ms Mackay, SNP MSP for Strathkelvin and Bearsden, said she was saddened after the charity this week confirmed plans to end core funding for the Beatson West of Scotland Cancer Centre unit, whose researchers are based at Switchback Road. After the news broke, the MSP had an urgent meeting to discuss the impact the decision will have on staff and patients. It has been revealed that funding from CR UK for trials which will have an impact on the local campus will be wound down over the next 2 years. The news means that only 7 sites, all in the south of England, will remain fully operational. This includes a new base at Oxford. Ms Mackay said, "I am deeply shocked and disappointed. In Glasgow, there is a truly joined-up system to allow world-class clinical trials delivered through the Beatson Clinical Services in Gartnavel and the CR UK CTU, whose administrative base by necessity is situated next to the patients. They in turn work seamlessly with the discovery science that is pioneered at the Beatson Institute at Garscube. By disrupting this system, the CR UK decision will therefore significantly impact the wider cancer research community in Glasgow." Ms Mackay said she will be joining fellow elected representatives across the west of Scotland in penning a joint letter to CRUK urging them to reconsider the decision. Cancer Research UK Director of Research Operations, Dan Birkwood, said that the decision would have no negative impact on patients. He added, "Although we have had to make the difficult decision to reduce funding to the Glasgow CTU following a thorough and independent peer-led review of the funding application, we are continuing to fund 7 CTUs elsewhere in the UK, which oversee trials that serve patients at NHS facilities across the UK. We are committed to investing £1.5 billion over 5 years across the UK to find new and better treatments which will help patients survive longer." Read by Alan Todd.
Ukraine Help as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. A year on from the Russian invasion of Ukraine, East Dunbartonshire Council has stated the extent and nature of help it has provided for refugees within the authority to date. The Council's Deputy Chief Executive Anne Davey stressed the support was ongoing and added, "Currently there are 102 Ukrainian displaced people residing in East Dunbartonshire. They are housed in a number of different ways. This includes with host families through the Homes for Ukraine scheme, in temporary and settled housing, including council accommodation and registered social landlords and private renting. The council are in regular contact with families and hosts to ensure they are all given the support they need, whether directly from us or our partner agencies." Writers Group is a big success story. A local writers group who has been around for more than 40 years says it has gone from strength to strength after being bolstered from a grant from a major local funding body. Strathkelvin Writers Group, which is based in Bishopbriggs, said it has had a significant increase in those joining its ranks, and crucially seeing their work in print. SWG President Paula Andrews told the Kirkintilloch Herald, "The last 2 years have shown a definite growth in membership and in successes. I believe that part of the reason for the recent upsurge is the group's new website, which was funded by a grant from East Dunbartonshire Arts Council. EDAC awarded us a generous grant which allowed us to develop a completely new customised website. Many new members have said it is what attracted them to Strathkelvin," she added. The group meets in Woodhill Evangelical Church, Bishopbriggs on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. For more information, see www.strathkelvinwriters.org. As a finale, the half hour from 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. is an informal time for tea, coffee, and gives the chance for members to chat. EDAC awards arts-related grants to individuals who are living in East Dunbartonshire and voluntary organisations based there. And there is currently more cash on the table for anyone wishing to apply for funding. For more information, see https://headartscouncil.org.uk.
Amy introduces 10-minute rule bill. Skin cancer survivor Amy Callaghan MP has stepped up her campaign to have VAT removed from sunscreen by introducing a 10-minute rule bill in Westminster. In her speech setting out the case for a new bill, the East Dunbartonshire MP said that market research shows people are priced out of buying sunscreen due to a lack of government action. At present, sunscreen is taxed in line with cosmetics, while other healthcare products are exempt from VAT. Ms Callaghan's bill would lead to the removal of VAT from sunscreen and task the UK government with creating a nationwide awareness campaign to promote sun protection. The East Dunbartonshire MP issued a warning to UK ministers that it is dangerous to ignore the voice of survivors, as cases of melanoma have more than doubled since the early 90s. She said, "Wearing sunscreen is one of the simplest things we can do to protect our skin against the risk of cancer, but 1 in 8 of us don't wear it because of the cost. My campaign will stop families being priced out of buying sunscreen and make it more affordable for everyone. This is a simple and inexpensive bill that could save countless lives. But the UK government appear unwilling to take the action that is needed. 0.03% of VAT income is not worth the human cost of melanoma. Australia, the US and Canada have already removed VAT-style taxes from sunscreen. There's nothing stopping the UK government doing the same.
Council's £126,000 fines bonanza. Dozens of parking tickets were handed out in Eastern Bartonshire every day in the first half of 2022, new figures reveal. Penalty charge notices are issued when drivers break parking regulations, such as by parking on double yellow lines or in a single yellow line at a prohibited time. Figures obtained by Churchill Motor Insurance through Freedom of Information requests show 4,323 penalty charge notices were handed out by Eastern Bartonshire Council in the 6 months to June 2022, equivalent to 24 each day. This was a fall from 30 per day across the whole of 2021, although seasonal variations and coronavirus lockdowns may have contributed. Commenting on the figures, Nicholas Mantell, head of Churchill Motor Insurance, said, "Motorists across Britain are regularly being caught out by increased and sometimes complicated parking restrictions. We would encourage drivers to always check parking signs carefully to ensure they avoid any expensive fines. If motorists do receive a parking fine, they have 28 days to pay it or appeal to an independent tribunal," he added. In total, 230 councils across the UK responded to the Freedom of Information requests. Among those that provided data, the figures show a rise in the average daily number of parking fines from 17,500 in 2021 to 19,600 in the first half of last year. The figures show Eastern Bartonshire Council brought in £126,604 in revenue for the first half of 2022 from penalty charge notices, or £703 a day. This was a fall from £996 a day across the whole of 2021. The figures further show £623,449 has been collected by Eastern Bartonshire Council from parking tickets from the start of 2020 to June 2022. The RAC Foundation said parking rules are there for a reason, but added, over-enthusiastic parking enforcement may also be playing a role in the rise across the UK. Steve Gooding, director of the organisation, said, "Whichever way they turn and wherever they decide to stop, on-street and off-street, drivers are faced with the threat of parking sanctions. Motorists are seemingly facing a positive flurry of fines and charges, around one every 2 seconds."
Hosteling's trustee bid. An opportunity has arisen to take up a special role at Hosteling Scotland as the charity widens its search for new trustees to shape its future. Hosteling Scotland, the not-for-profit, self-funded charity who operate a network of nearly 60 youth and affiliate hostels throughout Scotland and facilitate a number of youth and community initiatives, is on the lookout for new members to join its board of trustees. And it is stated that some who might not have immediately considered themselves suitable for this are in fact the sort of applicants required. For the organisation has told the media it is very keen to receive applications from as wide a range of talented people as possible, irrespective of their religion or belief, gender, age, gender identity, disability, sexual orientation, ethnic origin, political belief, relationship status, or caring responsibilities. With the challenging economic climate, Hosteling Scotland said it would love to hear from applicants with skills and experience in managing operational change, charity/corporate governance law, risk management, and youth travel and hospitality. Margot Peterson, CEO of Hosteling Scotland, said, "Hosteling Scotland is open to all. We are committed to inclusion and diversity, and we want our board of trustees to be representative of the wide range of talented people we have in the communities we serve throughout Scotland. We value greatly the benefits of having different points of view and experiences on our board. We particularly welcome applications from first-time trustees and highly motivated individuals across all age groups and backgrounds, with a wide range of skills and experiences and the capacity and commitment to grow into the role. If you're looking for a new and exciting adventure and keen to do something great, if you believe you have the enthusiasm and drive to help shape the future of hosteling in Scotland, we would love to hear from you. To express an interest and receive a nomination, pack and application form, please email companysecretary@hostelingscotland.org.uk. That's companysecretary@hostelingscotland.org.uk. A formal nomination form is required to be completed by Friday, March 10th.
Free help in confidence. Those who struggle with low mood, depression and anxiety in the dark days of winter or year round are being reminded that free and confidential help lies at the end of an after-hours helpline. Breathing Space, with its trained counsellors, is intended as a first point of contact for those who are feeling overwhelmed and would appreciate the opportunity to open up when they are feeling down. Those tasked with helping will offer empathy, understanding and advice through active listening. And they can direct callers to agencies who will be able to offer additional advice as well as practical help. Crucially, the service is open when other support, such as family, friends or GPs, may be unavailable to offer support firsthand. The service, which is aimed at over 16s in Scotland, operates on a 24-hour basis from Friday 6pm to Monday 6pm and from 6pm to 2pm on weekdays. The number to call is 0800 838587.
Striking teachers go for the treble. There was a strong turnout from teachers on picket lines last week as members of the Educational Institute of Scotland, EIS, the country's largest teaching union, stepped up their ongoing programme of strike action in a dispute over pay. Teachers held 3 days of targeted strike action aimed at politicians in key decision-making positions in Glasgow Southside, Nicola Sturgeon, Perthshire, North, Joan Swinney, Dunfermline, Shirley Ann Somerville, and Clydebank and Mulgai, Ross Greer. Commenting, EIS General Secretary Andrea Bradley said, "Our members have again displayed their strong commitment to securing a fair play settlement by turning out in large numbers on picket lines. This escalation of action, targeted at politicians with the ability to end this dispute, has been necessitated by the continuing refusal of the Scottish Government and COSLA to offer Scottish teachers a fair pay deal. We are taking this action reluctantly. Scotland teachers have simply run out of patience. We want to see this dispute settled and could call off further strike action immediately if the Scottish Government and COSLA offer an acceptable pay deal." Ms Bradley added, "It is only with the threat of action targeted at decision makers within the Scottish Government and COSLA that any recent progress has been made. While the revised offer that was made was inadequate, offering only a marginal increase in the previous unacceptable offer for 2022-23, the fact that the offer was improved at all has destroyed the Scottish Government's argument of supposedly fixed budget tying its hands. It was also confirmed that the Scottish Government is receiving an unexpected extra £160 million from the UK Government in funding consequentials. The Scottish Government's attempt to tie in next year's pay settlement to the overdue settlement for this year is a piece of disingenuous political chicanery. As the current Finance Secretary and a former Education Secretary, Mr Swinney should know how negotiations on teacher pay work. Those negotiations are properly held via the Scottish Negotiating Committee for Teachers, not through spin and soundbites in the media." Pay deal for NHS? Scotland's largest health union, Unison, has begun balloting its 50,000 health members on pay, with the union recommending members vote to accept the offer. If accepted, the offer would see the majority of Scotland's health workers receive at least 6.5% increase in pay, as well as a 1.5% one-off payment. If agreed, it would mean that over 2 years Unison will have secured a pay rise of over 14% for the majority of registered nurses and almost 20% for the lowest paid workers in the NHS. Wilma Brown, chair of Unison Scotland's Health Committee, said, "Our branches and activists will be encouraging members to accept this pay offer. Whoever members decide to vote, it is important they have their say, and we're urging members to make sure they vote before noon on March the 17th.
A New Life for Classic. Glasgow author Karen Murderassi is more used to writing new books, but she has just spent the best part of a year updating a classic from 1854. Hugh MacDonald's book, Rambles Round Glasgow, recorded his rambles in Glasgow, East Dunbartonshire and beyond. It was hugely popular and went through several editions, but it has been out of print since the 1950s, until now. I was doing some research for a book on Glasgow's history when I came across Hugh MacDonald's Gate on Glasgow Green, says Karen, who writes as KC Murderassi. I downloaded an old facsimile copy, hoping it would be useful for my research, but instead it totally sidetracked me. I ended up parking the other book and working on a new edition of the Rambles. Hugh MacDonald is a textile worker turned journalist in early Victorian Glasgow. His series of 21 rambles took him everywhere from Glasgow and Paisley to Kirkintilloch and the Campsie Fells. MacDonald was trying to encourage people to get out of the city and enjoy the fresh air and scenery of the countryside, explains Karen. He was raised in the slums of Bridgeton, where he was a child labourer, and he really valued his escapes to the countryside. Using the new Edinburgh and Glasgow Railway to reach Kirkintilloch, MacDonald rambled round well-known spots like the Peel Park and the Old Kirk, and declared that few of our Scottish communities can boast so high an antiquity as Kirkintilloch. The book offers a window onto a vanished landscape. MacDonald originally published his rambles as newspaper articles, and at a distance of 170 years, some of his references are now less than topical. Karen has added well over 1,000 footnotes to help the modern reader understand MacDonald's world. It was an exhausting process but great fun, she says. I learnt a lot about Glasgow and Dunbartonshire, and particularly about the Antonine Wall that runs so close to Glasgow. The 21st century edition of Hugh MacDonald's Rambles Round Glasgow will be released on March 2nd by Hephaestion Press.
Tactile paving welcomed. Plans to complete the installation of tactile paving at platform edges in all 362 railway stations in Scotland within the next 12 months have been welcomed by the country's leading sight loss charity. RNIB says the move will have a big impact for blind and partially sighted people's confidence in being able to use rail travel independently and safely. James Adams, director of RNIB Scotland, said, "Initially we were told the rollout of tactile paving would not be completed across the UK until 2029. In response, RNIB launched its Rail Safe campaign. We've been keeping up the pressure to make stations safe for blind and partially sighted people. 15,817 people signed our petition urging faster action. Thanks to their support, we've had confirmation that Network Rail is speeding up the installation of tactile paving on all railway platforms in Britain by 2025. And it's very good news that in Scotland it even aims to be a year sooner."
Recruitment campaign. Victim support needs your help. Victim Support Scotland, VSS, is asking people across Scotland to consider volunteering to support victims, witnesses and families affected by crime. A new campaign, spearheaded by a nationwide advertising campaign, will highlight the services offered by the charity and the vital role volunteers play in supporting people affected by crime. Following the coronavirus pandemic, VSS is providing more support sessions to people affected by crime than ever before. During the last year, it provided over 45,000 community support sessions, with more than 20,000 people supported through the court system. As demand continues to grow, so does the number of volunteers needed to keep providing a vital service. Volunteers make a significant difference to people who come to VSS for support, providing person-centred, trauma-informed, practical, free, confidential, non-judgmental support, offered at someone's own pace, when and where they want to be supported. Victim Support Scotland is looking for people who bring many different skills, the ability to listen and not judge, to offer choices and let someone decide their own future following a crime. Sometimes volunteers already know a bit about the criminal justice system or want to learn more. VSS provides all the support and training they need to increase their knowledge and expertise. Victim Support Scotland is looking for people from all walks of life, people who represent communities and diversity in Scotland. This allows VSS to offer support in a way where everyone is comfortable, welcome, understood, respected and confident to make their own decisions. Kate Wallace, Chief Executive of Victim Support Scotland, said, "Volunteering at Victim Support Scotland is a unique opportunity. We depend on our volunteers to support people affected by crime when they most need it, empowering them to move forward with their lives. As well as helping others, volunteers gain benefits such as learning new support skills, gaining experience of working within the criminal justice sector, and accessing a wide range of training opportunities. If you are looking for a challenging yet rewarding experience with valuable training and development opportunities, I would urge you to consider joining us as a volunteer." Jane, an existing Victim Support Scotland volunteer, said, "I have found it to be a privilege to be able to speak to people, listen to them, and hear what they've gone through in the aftermath of a crime. Seeing people we support progress with how they are feeling and helping them to move forward following a crime is an experience like no other. Volunteering has helped me to build my confidence, and I have received fantastic training. The skills I have learned at VSS are transferable to other areas of life and work and are invaluable." How can you help? VSS is the leading national charity in Scotland supporting victims of crime. It offers free and confidential support for anyone affected by crime, wherever they live in Scotland. The service also operates a free support helpline, which is open Monday to Friday from 8am to 8pm on 0800 160 1985. An independent charity, it provides support and information to people affected by crime and campaigns for victim and witness rights. Regardless of whether a crime has been reported or when it happened, services are free and confidential. To find out more about volunteering opportunities, go to victimsupport.scot/volunteer today. Consultation on the SES Air Ambulance Service. The public have been given a final opportunity to contribute to a consultation on the Scottish Ambulance Service, SAS. Feedback and responses received from readers will help inform the re-procurement of the Air Ambulance Service prior to its renewal. The Air Ambulance Service, which is funded in its entirety by the Scottish Government, transfers patients living in remote, rural and island communities to and from hospital. It also provides air ambulance support to the Scotstar retrieval teams and responds to 999 calls in helicopter emergency medical service HEMS role. The service is delivered through a managed contract of 2 helicopters, one based in Glasgow and one in Inverness, and 2 fixed-wing aircraft, one at Aberdeen Airport and one at Glasgow Airport. In addition to the 4 government-funded aircraft, the service is supplemented by 2 helicopters provided by Scotland's charity Air Ambulance. A national multidisciplinary team of paramedics, nurses, advanced practitioners and doctors work together to provide a flexible and responsive service that offers timely, safe and effective care for patients. Over 1,500 people across Scotland have already provided their feedback on the SES Air Ambulance Service through the consultation which launched in 2022. Andy Moir, Air Ambulance Procurement Programme Director at the Scottish Ambulance Service, said, "I'd like to thank everyone who has taken the time to contribute to the Air Ambulance Service consultation and engagement exercise so far. As we enter the final stage of the consultation and engagement process, we welcome feedback from everyone with views on the Air Ambulance Service, and especially those who haven't been in touch already. The feedback we receive enables us to build a clear picture of the desired next generation of the Air Ambulance Service. If you wish to express aspects of the Air Ambulance Future Service, please email ses.airamb@nhs.scot by March 17th. That's If you wish to express views or opinions about any aspect of the Air Ambulance Future Service, email sas.airamb@nhs.scot by March 17th. A consultation report outlining progress so far is available at www.scottishambulance.com/media.
Family announcements. Deaths. McNaught. Morel Irene. Peacefully at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Thursday, February 16th, 2023, aged 85. Morel, beloved wife of Ian and loving mother to David and Donald. Funeral service to take place at Daldowie Crematorium on Friday, March 3rd, 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Black funeral attire is not necessary. Family flowers only, please. Any donations to Natural Rheumatoid Arthritis Society, NRAS.
Children need advocate to keep them safe online. More than 3,100 child abuse image offences were recorded by Police Scotland in just 5 years. The figure was revealed by the NSPCC as it called for a more robust online safety bill. Last year, 662 crimes, including the sharing and possession of indecent images of children, were recorded by Police Scotland. The NSPCC warns that unregulated social media is fueling online child sexual abuse, and behind every offence could be a multiple child victims who are continually re-victimised as images are shared. Young people being groomed into sharing images of their own abuse is pervasive, the charity claims, and tech bosses are failing to stop their sites being used by offenders to organise, commit and share child sexual abuse. It is also calling on the UK government to give children, including victims of sexual abuse, a powerful voice and expert representation in future regulation by creating a statutory child safety advocate through the online safety bill. This would ensure children's experiences are front and centre of the decision making, building safeguarding experience into regulation to prioritise child protection. NSPCC analysis of the data obtained from police forces shows Snapchat as the social media site offenders most used to share child abuse images, where platform data was provided. The app was used in 43% of cases. Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, all owned by Meta, were used in a third, 33% of instances, where a site was flagged. And, for the first time, virtual reality environments and Oculus headsets, used to explore the metaverse, were found to be involved in recorded child sexual abuse image crimes. The NSPCC said, committing to a statutory safety advocate is crucial to act as an early warning system to identify emerging child abuse risks and ensure they're on the radar of the companies and the regulator Ofcom. The advocate would reflect the experiences of young people and be a statutory counterbalance to the power of the big tech lobby to help drive a corporate culture that focuses on preventing abuse. Holly called Childline in despair when she was 14. She said, "I am feeling sick with fear. I was talking with this guy online and trusted him. I sent him quite a lot of nude pictures of myself, and now he's threatening to send them to my friends and family unless I send him more nudes or pay him. I reported it to Instagram, but they still haven't got back. I don't want to tell the police because my parents would then know what I did and they would be so disappointed." Sir Peter Wanless, NSPCC Chief Executive, said, "These figures are alarming, but reflect just the tip of the iceberg of what children are experiencing online. We hear from young people who feel powerless and let down as online sexual abuse risks becoming normalised for a generation of children. By creating a child safety advocate that stands up for children and families, the UK government can ensure the online safety bill systematically prevents abuse. It would be inexcusable if, in 5 years' time, we are still playing catch up to abuse that's been allowed to proliferate on social media." Letters page. Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald, Wednesday the 1st of March 2023. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Our police system has been trashed on altar of nationalism. Sir, Scotland's Chief Constable Sir Ian Livingston has tendered his resignation from Police Scotland. Sir Ian's retirement was announced as he and Lynn Brown, Chief Executive of the Scottish Police Authority, presented a paper to the SPA meeting that warns policing north of the border is unsustainable. Sir Ian also said, hard choices lie ahead. Police Scotland was created as a brainchild of then Justice Secretary Kenny McCaskill under the pretence of financial probity and vast savings. It was blatantly obvious that Mr McCaskill's then party, the SNP, created a nationalist police force to give total political control over one chief constable. After 3 chief constables and as many chairs of the SPA, McCaskill's creation has been an unmitigated disaster. The force has been starved of funds, and it is a substantial financial black hole, never any bobbies on the beat, scruffy, untidy officers with little public/community awareness, and, I understand, low morale with considerable retirements this year. After 8 years of this nationalist regime, Police Scotland is another SNP failure, and the architects should hang their heads in shame. Just another great Scottish institution trashed on the misguided altar of independence. Yours, etc., Douglas Cow, address supplied. The theft of Scottish resources. Sir, did you know that 1921 was the last year the British state published Scotland's contribution to the UK Exchequer? That year, Scotland contributed £119.7 million, of which £33.1 million was spent in Scottish services and £86.6 million was retained in London for imperial services. Irish independence was most likely the reason publication ceased. London didn't want to give the Scots ideas above their station. Another brief glimpse of Scotland's contribution to the UK Treasury came in 1952-53. That year, Scotland's revenue of £409.6 million exceeded by £100 million the combined revenues of Norway, £183 million, and Denmark, £130 million. After North Sea oil was discovered in Scottish waters in the early 1970s, Scotland's revenue exploded into the billions. The UK government reacted by hiding the Macron report that showed just how wealthy Scotland would be if it retained its oil revenues. Again, London couldn't risk Scots finding out how wealthy they were. In 1999, on the eve of the opening of the Scottish Parliament, Tony Blair and Donald Dewar moved the maritime boundary from Berwick to Arbroath, reclassifying 6k square miles of Scottish Sea as English, along with 7 major oil fields. The UK's ongoing theft of our natural resources should be reason enough to end this union farce. The SNP leadership candidates, if serious about independence, should be shouting this from the rooftops. Yours, etc., Leah Gunn Barrett, by email. One wee card. Sir, Tony Blair and William Hague are pushing for everyone in the UK to hold a digital ID card. The aim, they say, is for the cards to allow people to provide their identity, age, driving licence, right to live and work in the UK, and even their educational qualifications. Eminently sensible, some would say. These cards would mean that you could prove your identity or entitlement to many services, and possibly even use them in place of a passport. Just one little card. Of course, in other countries, such as China, facial recognition software is routinely used to identify members of the public and arrest them if they are deemed to have infringed the law or have spoken out of turn. Such a card as Hague and Blair want could hold biometric information, of course, as well. One could add iris recognition for similar purposes of establishing ID. Add in fingerprints too, natch. Since COVID, the use of credit and debit cards is pushing cash into minority use, so, with ready money disappearing, all your economic activity will be a matter of public record and you could be tracked quite easily. As the UK already has one of the most widely distributed CCTV networks in the world, and telephone calls and internet usage are already being snooped on by our security services, snooping could become, and probably is, ubiquitous. all the means by which the people of the UK could be controlled and monitored would be in place. I am glad that neither gentleman is still active in government. Yours, etc., Andrew H.N. Gray. Address supplied. Reader's Charter, Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald. This newspaper is built in a tradition of accuracy and fairness, giving you the information you need to understand our world, holding power to account, and exposing injustice. Our trusted brand means you're the only place where you can read and participate in honest debates. We are committed to giving a voice to those who struggle to be heard, as well as those whose profession is crafting an argument. Our Reader's Charter spells out our commitment to you. You can read the Charter online at kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. Reforms needed to help abuse victims. Plans to make UK Government Child Maintenance Services, CMS, more supportive of domestic abuse victims will be undermined unless indefensible service charges are removed. On Friday, March the 3rd, MPs will debate and vote on a bill which aims to make it easier for domestic abuse victims to access the collect and pay services. This allows the CMS to automatically collect what children are owed without any contact between the two parents. CMS has been the subject of criticism over its handling of cases involving domestic abuse, with concerns raised by charities that the system allows too many abusive ex-partners to withhold, stop and start payments as a form of exerting coercive control. The Child Support Collection Domestic Abuse Bill, introduced by backbench Conservative MP Sally Ann Hart, plans to bring an end to this by making sure nobody with evidence of domestic abuse by their ex-partner is forced to use a direct pay arrangement where non-resident parents make the payments voluntarily. However, 12 Scottish charities, led by One Parent Family Scotland and Scotland Women's Aid, have raised concerns that the bill's aims won't be achieved unless several vital steps are taken to reform the system. The organisations have urged MPs to press for action from government to remove the charges associated with the service, as parents receiving maintenance through collect and pay are charged 4%, while paying parents face a 20% surcharge. A second bill is to be introduced to set out what kind of evidence of abuse will be accepted. The charities say evidence will not be needed if charges were removed, and it's fundamental that any evidence requirements avoid subjecting survivors to unnecessary stress. Satwart Rayman, One Parent Family Scotland Chief Executive, said, "Many single mothers we support have been subjected to domestic abuse, and unfortunately, all too many of those have told us that their experiences with the child maintenance service have only added to their distress. This bill has creditable aims and can make a real difference in reducing the risk of economic abuse. However, there is an urgent need for a fundamental shift in how the CMS approaches domestic abuse. One of the greatest barriers to the collect and pay service is the ongoing charges. It is quite simply indefensible for someone to be charged a fee by the government for help with accessing financial support for their child from their abusive ex-partner. If the government is serious about making the CMS work better for those affected by domestic abuse, it has to remove these charges. MPs have also been told that the government should publish guidance and plans for extensive training to domestic abuse for CMS staff. An independent review on the CMS response to domestic abuse recommended that the charges be kept. Other organisations appealing to MPs for change include Aberlour, Child Poverty Action Group in Scotland, Children First, Close the Gap, Engender, Fife Gingerbread, Poverty Alliance, Scottish Women's Budget Group, and Zero Tolerance.
Task Force welcomed by Nursing College. The Royal College of Nursing has welcomed the Scottish Government's announcement of a nursing and midwifery task force. Long before the pandemic, RCN members in Scotland raised concerns about the impact staff shortages were having on patient care and staff well-being. The RCN has secured the task force in response to the ongoing workforce crisis and as a direct result of the college's mandate for strike action. The announcement followed a meeting between the Cabinet Secretary for Health and Social Care, Humza Yousaf, the Chief Nursing Officer, Alex McMahon, and RCN Scotland board members. The task force will recommend a series of actions to address the current staffing crisis by supporting the retention and development of existing nursing staff and encouraging more people to consider a career in nursing. It has committed to engage with and listen to nursing staff across Scotland to understand the unique challenges they face. Colin Pullman, RCN Scotland Director, said, "Pay is important, but our members have been clear that it is the chronic staff shortages and service pressures that led them to vote for strike action. The task force announcement demonstrates that the voice of nursing is being heard. The RCN will hold the Scottish Government to its commitment to deliver a sustainable nursing workforce. Together with our partners on the task force, we will ensure that the personal experiences and views of our members, the wider nursing workforce, and the nurseries of the future informs and shapes this essential work."
Get entries in for Excellence Awards. The leading lights of the Scottish food and drink sector will gather at the Edinburgh International Conference Centre for the 22nd Excellence Awards. Entries are open from now until April the 21st for the not-to-be-missed event on September the 7th. Last year's awards were attended by more than 700 people, with Baccafrost Scotland, formerly the Scottish Salmon Company, winning Product of the Year with their native Hebridean smoked Scottish salmon. Supported by sponsor Asda, the 22nd Excellence Awards will champion the very best products, businesses and people from across the industry, from butchers to craft distillers, innovative confectioners to sustainable dairy producers who are raising the bar and cementing Scotland's reputation as a land of food and drink. All entries to produce categories will be tasted by an expert panel of judges, including main sponsor Asda, major buyers and representatives from Marks & Spencer, Aramark, Edrington, Waldorf, Astoria, Co-op, Sodexo and Enitria & Co. have also previously formed part of the judging panel. Some 21 product and business categories are now accepting entries, including 2 new categories, allowing the awards to showcase a huge range of produce available from the Scottish larder. Ian Baxter, Scotland Food and Drink Chief Executive, said, "We are so proud of the quality of the food and drink produced in Scotland. It is important for us to have the chance to celebrate industry successes and the people that make it so dynamic." To find out more or enter, visit https://excellenceawards.foodanddrink.scot.
Championing Nature Heroes. RSPB Scotland is now accepting applications for this year's Nature of Scotland Awards. It's a chance to honour individuals and organisations making a difference in their local communities, businesses and schools to support Scotland's iconic wildlife and fantastic landscapes. Nature champions, pioneering businesses and passionate community groups are being encouraged to enter for free, choosing from 10 categories. Co-sponsored by Nature Scot, the awards celebrate individuals and organisations across the country doing their bit to protect Scotland's nature. A brand new category has been announced this year, the Landscape Restoration Award, open to applications from projects and partnerships working to tackle the nature and climate crises at scale, covering both land and sea. Categories returning from previous years include Health and Wellbeing, Conservation Science and Community Initiative Awards, the latter of which will be open to a public vote in September. Anne McCall, RSPB Scotland Director, said, "I'm delighted that we hear of so many new products each year, all playing their part to protect landscapes and species. Right across Scotland, businesses, schools, communities and individuals are recognising the importance of wildlife we're so lucky to share our country with." The other judges and I are particularly looking forward to our new category for 2023, the Landscape Restoration Award. We know substantial efforts are needed to set Scotland up for the fight against the nature and climate emergency, so applicants for this award should inspire us with their conservation and environmental achievements and the benefits to their communities. Nature Scot Chief Executive Francesca Osowska added, The Nature of Scotland Awards are a celebration of everything that is inspiring, rewarding, and transformative about protecting and restoring Scotland's biodiversity. The shortlist for the awards will be announced in September, and the awards night will be held on November 22nd. Applications for the awards are open until May 30th. For more information or to enter, visit www.rspb.org.uk. That's www.rspb.org.uk.
DRS support for small businesses. Campaigners have welcomed the news that small businesses will be supported to lodge Scotland's deposit return scheme on time in August this year. Circularity Scotland has announced that there will be an investment of £22 million to support small businesses to prepare for the introduction of the scheme. A 2-month grace period will also be given to businesses as the scheme begins to smooth the transition. People will pay a 20p deposit when they buy a drink in a single-use container made of plastic, metal or glass. When the containers are returned, this provides a guaranteed source of high-quality materials for recycling. Kim Pratt, Friends of the Earth Scotland, said, "We're pleased to see support has been given to smaller businesses to address their concern. This announcement should end calls for further delays."
District News General. Date the 1st of March 2023. Oreo is a real cracker. Introducing Oreo, a beautiful 1-year-old lurcher who is looking for her forever home. She's a sweet and affectionate girl who adores people. Oreo loves to make new friends, both human and four-legged. She is an active lady who loves to run around in the garden where she can burn off energy and explore her surroundings. Oreo loves to play, especially with her favourite bouncy ball or her squeaky bone. Oreo is looking for owners who are at home most of the day and enjoy going for walking adventures just as much as she does. Oreo is house trained and travels great in the car. If you could provide a home for Oreo or any of the 50 dogs currently available for rehoming, call 01506 873 459. Society of Antiquaries. The next meeting of the Antiquaries will be on Thursday, March the 2nd at 7:30pm in the Park Centre, 45 Kerr Street, Kirkintilloch. We will hear a presentation from James Kennedy on It Started with Rob Roy, Filmmaking in the Trossachs, 1911 to 1953. Visitors welcome. Holyrood View. Scotland gets the greenest budget yet, by Ross Greer, MSP. Each February, Parliament passes Scotland's annual budget for the forthcoming financial year. It's no exaggeration to say that setting the 2023-24 budget has been the most challenging in Holyrood's history, largely for reasons completely out with our control. In short, the Scottish Government is now expected to do more with less. The UK Government have given it a budget which doesn't make up for the damage caused by inflation, nor meet the increasing levels of demand for services like the NHS and social care. Despite those challenges, this is Scotland's greenest budget ever. There's £2.2 billion to tackle the climate and nature crises. It also scraps peak time rail fares from later this year, saving travellers hundreds of pounds. 20,000 more children will be eligible for free school meals. £80 million will be invested in expanding school and catering facilities, so that more children can be offered free meals, and that an extra £1 billion will go to the NHS. This is all possible because of what the Institute for Fiscal Studies confirmed is the most progressive tax system in the UK, something largely the result of changes made by the Scottish Greens. By slightly raising taxes on those buying second/holiday homes and on the highest earners, we were able to fund vital public services. That builds on what our Green MSP's group achieved back in 2018, an initial round of tax rises for the highest earners and tax cuts for those on the lowest incomes. As a result of the changes we made back then, our public services are already £1 billion better off. That's how any government should act in tough times, redistributing wealth and truly supporting the poorest people and the services they rely on, like the NHS and schools. Compare that to the woeful record of the UK government, who dishonestly implemented the windfall tax on energy company profits the Greens and others called for, but then gave those very same companies a 90% relief from the tax if they committed to drill for even more oil and gas. Not only starving public services of vital funds, it was a devastating step backwards to tackle the climate emergency. We are straining at the limit of Scotland's very limited financial powers. Public services like the NHS still need far more funding. Only with the financial powers of an independent nation will that be possible. Your Time, Going Green with Angela Terry, as published on Wednesday the 1st of March 2023. Green campaigner and consumer expert Angela Terry separates climate change facts from fiction and explains how you can take simple, practical steps to help save the planet. Follow @OurOneHome and visit onehome.org.uk for more advice. Let the sun shine in. Benefit from solar panel energy saving. Question: I'm wondering whether to get solar panels on my house. As I face southwest, what do you think? Answer: I can't speak highly enough of solar panels. I had them fitted a few years ago and, in the last 12 months, 85% of my energy has come from the panels. And it turns out I'm not alone in being a solar panel fan. There are roughly 1.2 million homes in the UK like mine. Record numbers of people are having solar panels fitted, both in residential and businesses' premises, as energy bills soar. Just recently, a block of flats in Cardiff became the first in the UK to have shared solar panels. There are calls for city centre car parks to have solar panels, as the access to the sunshine is rarely blocked, and even in the esteemed King's College at Cambridge University is having some installed. As of last summer, there were a total of 1,178,241 solar installations, and that number continues to rise. Last June saw a record uptake of solar panels in the UK, with 79% of them in homes rather than businesses, so lots of people were thinking along the same lines as you and getting panels installed. In fact, global solar uptake has increased in the last 12 months, resulting in over 1 million solar panels being added worldwide. For an environmental scientist like me, there's the obvious pull that they reduce our carbon footprints, but with energy costs rocketing, they also save a lot of money. So, even if you're not particularly environmentally conscious, they're a very wallet-friendly option, not to mention the fact that you receive payments for the extra energy you generate. They also fall under what's called permitted development, so you shouldn't need planning permission for them. There are exceptions, so it's always best to check with your planning office before installing them. When it comes to cost of installation, they're not cheap, averaging around £5,500, but you'll make that money back and then some over their lifetime. Around 173,000 terawatts of energy hit the earth at any given moment. That's more than 10,000 times the world's total energy use. When you consider that, it does beg our belief our entire globe isn't powered by solar energy. We're harnessing a minuscule amount of it in the grand scheme of things, and the rest of it is going to waste while we continue to burn polluting fossil fuels. Solar energy in the UK accounts for just 6.8% of our energy mix, but the good news is that's increasing. I hope I've laid out the positive of solar, and personally, I'm a huge fan, but if you have a family or neighbours in your street with panels themselves, why not ask them what they think? The trend for solar will continue to grow, not least because it puts consumers in charge a little more, and we're paid for the energy we don't use, so everyone's a winner. Celebrity spot. She wowed millions with her Super Bowl halftime show recently. Mum to be Rihanna, who hails from Barbados, one of the Caribbean's most vulnerable islands to climate change, speaking out about the environment. She said that climate change is a real issue, evident and obvious. We're seeing the changes that were happening around the world randomly and sporadically. She added that it's not seasonal anymore. It's just happening, and I think you'd be a fool to ignore that. Green swap. Swap bin for freezer. The UK bins around 9.5 million tonnes of food every year, but how much could we still use Keep eyeing expiration dates and pop stuff into the freezer before it reaches the date. Whole fruits and veg can be frozen. Fact or fiction? There are fewer deserts now than ever before. Fiction. Each year more than 12 million hectares of land are lost to desertification, land degradation and drought, according to the UN, a surface area equivalent to the entire arable land of Germany. Just how eco-friendly is your morning coffee? We drink over 2 billion cups of it every day, and it's the world's most popular drink, with consumption expected to double by 2050. But have you ever bothered to stop and wonder just how green your coffee is? The UK's coffee industry employs around 210,000 people and contributes a whopping £9.1 billion to the economy. So, while our obsession with coffee is good for the country's coffers, making some smart and informed choices about where you buy and what you buy can help the globe. There are 15 stages between planting coffee seeds and us enjoying our morning pick-me-up. This includes picking the coffee beans, sorting, fermenting, drying and grinding. But what do you need to know to make green coffee choices, and which preparation is the most environmentally friendly? It turns out filter coffee, one of the most popular choices, is the worst in preparation when it comes to energy costs to make it. You need a lot more ground than you do for other courses of preparation, whereas French press or cafetiere is considered the best preparation in terms of energy consumption. In the supermarket, when you're buying coffee, look for certifications on your beans or ground coffee from organisations like Rainforest Alliance. Fair trade badges and organic coffee are good choices too. If you have a coffee capsule machine, not all the pods are recyclable, so make sure you look for one that is. Better still, opt for a bean to cup machine that doesn't use a pod or capsule at all. They're not cheap, but globally coffee capsules make up around 576,000 metric tons of waste. Just last year, a Swiss retailer produced a coffee making system that used coffee balls instead of pods, the coffee wrapped in a thin flavourless seaweed that's fully compostable. We all know about reusable cups rather than the single use. There are some cafes now that don't use disposable cups at all, so if you don't bring your own, you can't have a takeaway coffee. If you're prepping at home, you can also use leftover coffee grinds as fertiliser for your garden or veg patch. They're great for keeping slugs and snails away. In terms of energy use, for homemade coffee, don't boil more water than you need, and you can even have a go at cold pressed coffee. It'll need to steep overnight in the French press before you plunge, but cold pressed coffee is growing in popularity among coffee aficionados. No one's suggesting swapping a must-have morning ritual, but a few changes and better choices can go a long way.
Public notices. Planning notices. East Dunbartonshire Council public notices. Civic Government (Scotland Act 1982) application for public entertainment licence. The undernoted has applied for the grant of a public entertainment licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant. The Committee of Lenzie Rugby Football Club, Viewfield, 15 Viewfield Avenue, Lenzie, G66 4RB. Day-to-day manager, Neil Cowan, 11 Hawthorne Avenue, Lenzie, G66 4RA. Type of entertainment, beer and rugby festival with live music from 8 p.m. Dates and times of operation. 5 p.m. on Friday the 28th of April 2023 to 1 a.m. on Saturday the 29th of April 2023. 10 a.m. on Saturday the 29th of April 2023 to 1 a.m. on Sunday the 30th of April 2023. 10 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of April 2023. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government (Scotland Act 1982. Application for Public Entertainment Licence. The undernoted has applied for the grant of a temporary public entertainment licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Kenneth Stirling, 25 Manscroft Place, Glasgow, G32 6FA. Premises: Woodhead Park, Lindsay Road, Kirkintilloch. Day-to-day manager: Kenneth Stirling, 25 Manscroft Place, Glasgow, G32 6FA. Type of entertainment: Funfair. Dates and times of operation: Wednesday the 7th of June 2023 until Friday the 9th of June 2023, 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. Saturday the 10th of June 2023, 12 noon until 9 p.m. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Members' surgeries. Councillors' arrangements for interviewing residents. Ward 7, Kirkintilloch East and North and Twecker, Councillor Stuart MacDonald. 8th of March 2023. The Hub, William Patrick Library, Service Room 1, 5:30 p.m. until 6 p.m. 8th of March 2023. Hairstains Huts, 6:15 p.m. until 6:45 p.m. Ward 7, Kirkintilloch East and North and Twecker, Councillor Susan Murray. 4th of March 2023, Hillhead Community Centre, 9:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. 4th of March 2023, Twecker Healthy Living and Enterprise Centre, 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. 8th of March 2023, The Hub, William Patrick Library, Room 1, 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. Between surgeries, councillors can be contacted at the Members Support Unit on 0300 12345 10. That phone number again is 0300 12345 10. Planning applications. Format: application number followed by address/location, followed by proposal, followed by type of advert, followed by period of reps. TP/ED/23/0087. 12 Glenhead Road, Lindsay, East Dunbartonshire, G66 5AL. Replacement windows to front elevation, including retention of existing stained glass with double glazed unit, and replacement of 2 windows to the rear elevation. Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council website. The current restrictions on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties and may also be published on the Council's website. Tickets go on sale. An article by Brian Dewell and read by me, Corey. Cycling fans can secure their tickets for the 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships, with the general sale now officially open. As Scotland prepares to welcome the biggest celebration of cycling in history this August, First Minister Nicola Sturgeon visited the Glasgow BMX Centre to kick off ticket sales and meet with young cyclists from local schools, as well as BMX groups, the Western Titans and the Cumbernauld Centurions. Earlier this month, some of Scotland's most iconic landmarks were illuminated in the rainbow stripes of the UCI, signifying the locations where the upcoming 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships will take place. The 2023 UCI Cycling Worlds will feature 13 high-adrenaline championships during the first of its kind events, and tickets cost from £8, or fans can register for various free events at www.cyclingworldchamps.com/visit/tickets. Miss Sturgeon said, "Hosting the first ever UCI Cycling World Championship is an excellent opportunity to showcase Scotland to the world, promote cycling and the many benefits it can bring. This global event will also deliver important economic benefits for communities throughout the country. While Glasgow is rightly recognised as an excellent and experienced host city, it's fantastic to see these UCI World Championships taking place from Fort William to Dumfries in Galloway, and a variety of locations in between. This is a great opportunity for Scotland to build on our global reputation of hosting world-class events. We want members of the public to not only enjoy watching the many different types of events on offer, but be inspired by the power of the bike to give cycling a try for themselves, for exercise, sport, transportation, or even just for fun." Former BMX racing UCI World Champion Shanez Reid, the event's ambassador for children and young people, added, "Seeing the top cyclists in the world take to the streets and arenas around our own country will not only create a great buzz in August, but hopefully inspire young riders, perhaps even the next generation of champions, to experience the fun and freedom a bike can bring to their lives." That article was written by Brian Dewell and read by me, Corey. Ashfield blow 3-goal lead at United. An article by Brian Dewell and read by me, Corey. Ashfield boss Michael Oliver says his side don't deserve to be promoted from the WOS Second Division if they throw away a 3-goal lead. Bobby Barr put Ashfield 2-0 up with a double away to bottom of the table Glasgow United, and then turned provider as Fraser Sheridan made it 3. The visitors had their trialist keeper to thank for ensure they remained 3-0 ahead at half-time as he saved a penalty. I apologise for how that paragraph sounded, but that is how it is written. However, in the second half, United came back to score 3 of their own to level the match, and also had another penalty saved. Ashfield finished the match with 10 men when Connor Breedham was shown a red card. Oliver told the club's YouTube channel, "It was a game of 2 halves. First half, I thought the boys were absolutely excellent. We're 3-0 up and in control of the game. But it means nothing, as that second half performance was nowhere near good enough. There's only frustration and anger right now. We knew it would be tough, as while Glasgow United are bottom of the league, it is a local derby. I know it can be difficult when you're 3 up and complacency can set in, but you can't go from winning a game 3-0 to drawing it, and our goalie has saved 2 penalties as well, which is incredible. so we also could have lost the game. Without a doubt, it is 2 points dropped. That's 2 weeks in a row with no wins, and if we want to get promoted, it's not good enough. But we don't deserve to get promoted if you are 3-0 up at half-time against a team down the bottom end and can't see it through. I thought our 3 goals were excellent, and that is what we can do in the final third. So if you want to take any positives out of the game, it is that. But there's not much positivity from me because that first half has been completely wasted. Ashfield in third actually pulled a point closer to second place, Glasgow Pershore, who lost 6-1 away to Yoker Athletic on Friday, with Babukar Musa scoring their own goal. I presume that's meant to be only goal. Again, I'm reading it as it's written. Both sides will be looking to bounce back on Saturday as Ashfield are away to Ardeer Thistle and Pershore head to Wishaw. That article was written by Brian Yule and read by me, Corey. Chris is on cue to win pool comp. Lindsay After School Club's pool competition was held at IQ Cafe Bar and Q Sports in Kirkintilloch. The trophy was lifted by Lindsay Meadow Primary pupil Christopher Stewart in a round-robin competition where he won 4 games. The club's Monday evening, where the pupils play small-sided indoor fun football games, is very popular. Any Primary 6 or Primary 7 pupils keen on football can call 0141 775 0322 for more information. The club is again organising the Primary Schools Sevens Festival on May 23rd, hosted by Lindsay Academy, and it is expected 12 plus primary schools will take part. The theme is racism. Kick it out. They would like to thank both Lindsay Academy and Lindsay Meadow for the help they give the club. Rob Roy move further away from danger zone. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy have signed goalkeeper Kyle Atkin on loan from Motherwell until the end of the season. With KP McAllister injured, Aitken went straight into the side for a 2-1 win at home to Hurlford United in the WOS Premier Division. Aitken showed his quality to deny Hurlford in a 1-on-1 and Stephen Bongske then cleared the rebound off the line to keep it goalless. Rob Roy took a 2-goal lead in the second half as through an Alan Woodhouse double. The away side did pull one back, but the hosts held on for the 3 points as they continue to move further away from danger. The same cannot be said for Peters Hill, as they remain in the drop zone following a 4-0 loss at Largs Thistle. Both sides are on the road this Saturday, as Rob Roy travel to Pollock, while Peters Hill head to Irvine Meadow. Rossvale are out of the WOS League Cup after losing a penalty shootout away to Neilston. I apologise for that paragraph, but again that's how it's written. The home side took the lead just before half-time, but on 69 minutes, Fraser Malcolm equalised from the spot. Neilston were reduced to 10 men in the penalty incident, but it was they who won it 12-11 on penalties. It is back to First Division action on Saturday as Rossvale are at Blantyre, Victoria. West Park United took advantage of leaders Kilsyth Athletic drawing as they won 3-0 away to Rossvale Academy to close the gap at the top of the 4th Division. Dylan Kennedy and Jamie Dodsworth put the visitors 2 up, and the break and Eddie Ferns added a third in the second half. Academy host Eglinton on Saturday, while United aren't in action. City show the Dons no mercy. Glasgow City returned to action in the SWPL 1 with a 7-0 win away at Aberdeen. Jenna Clark opened the scoring before doubles from Kinga Kozak and Lauren Davidson had City 5 up. Priscilla Chinchilla made it 6 in the second half, and an Aliza McCann own goal rounded off the scoring. City host Motherwell tonight, Wednesday, and are away to Celtic on Sunday. With Livingston out of action, Rossvale missed the chance to cut the gap at the top of the Championship as they went down 3-2 at home to Inverness Cally Thistle. West Park United failed to build on last week's first win in the SWFL West as they went down 5-3 to Dunny Pace. Rossvale are at Morton on Sunday. West Park host Motherwell Developmental.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.